conversation is your conversation, and that conversation is going on everywhere.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Frontline with Joe and Joe. Joe Pasillo, and I just wanted to touch base with everybody because we need to talk about the NFL. We need to talk about the sports leagues in general, okay? But right now, obviously, this was opening weekend for the National Football League, and it's sad. It's sad. I want to talk about why it's sad. But first, let me remind you all to please follow the Frontline with Joe and Joe on Facebook and YouTube. On Facebook, please follow, like, share with your friends. And on YouTube, we're really trying to build up our YouTube audience. You'll be able to see this video, of course, on YouTube. Go over there, subscribe to our channel. It's the Frontline with Joe and Joe. Hit the little bell. We have some great interviews up there. We've done a lot of interviews this year. And of course, we have our weekly podcast that we do on Sunday nights. So this is the middle of the week. But like I said, it was, I felt like it was a little bit pressing because for Joe Resinello and I, we really like football. I want to speak for myself, say I love football. And I love the New York Jets in particular. Now, aside from the fact that they got shellacked by the Buffalo Bills on Sunday, I did not watch the game. And anybody who knows me, if you ask anybody who knows me, where am I going to be on opening day, Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock, I'm going to be in front of the TV. I'm going to be watching the Jet game. I did not watch the Jet game. And like I said, it's sad, but there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it because we, and what I mean we is those of us who are sports fans, we don't want politics and we don't want the woke culture that's out there infecting our enjoyment of sports. And in my case, it's football. I don't really dig any other sport. I mean, I watch some baseball. I watch very little basketball. I am a football fan, and I am a New York Jets fan. And for me, it's like, I don't want the politics. If I go to a game and I'm wearing a jersey, okay, the only thing and the Jets are playing the Patriots, the only thing I want to know about the guy sitting next to me, is he a Jet fan or a Patriots fan? I'm not going to ask him if he voted for Obama. I'm not going to ask him if he's woke. I'm not going to ask him any of that stuff. I'm more interested in that moment about the New York Jets and about watching football. And it's going to translate. It's already starting to shake the National Football League. And if opening day is any indicator, then they're going to be in for a lot of trouble. They're going to be for a lot of trouble. Now, that's either a mistake on their part, which is one scenario, or it's deliberate. Because let's keep in mind that for years, the feminists have been complaining about professional sports in general, but the National Football League in particular, because of its toxic masculinity. So they'd have no problem if the league was to be destroyed. And if that's the case, that means Roger Goodell is an operative at the forefront of that attempted destruction. The destruction of something that as Americans, we value. We value football. We value sports. And we're the ones here, by the way, getting slapped in the face. Because remember something, like every other big business, they make no money unless we put it in their pockets. So one of the reasons why I'm doing this video is to tell everybody, stop putting money in their pockets. And believe me when I tell you, it's a sacrifice. I miss the Jets. I do. And that's only week 1. Wait till week 8. Now, they're probably going to stink, but that's irrelevant because I watch the Jets anyway, all year long. And I hope there's millions and millions and millions of people out there like me who are going to say, you know what? You want to slap me in the face? Well, I'm not going to put any money in your pocket. So I came across an article. This was written by Justin Vallejo in The Independent. And just want to break down a couple things for you. Quote, the first weekend of the NFL was marked by widespread social justice activism as a lack of fan interest led to a near record ratings collapse. Thank God. Players across the league knelt, linked arms, or remained in their locker rooms during the national anthem. Okay. At the season opener between the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Houston Texans, the crowds booed, and the boos overwhelmed its cheers as players linked arms during a moment of unity. Now, let's break down a couple of the numbers just so I could give you some specifics. According to preliminary ratings, viewership was down 12.3% from the 2019 kickoff game, with 19.3 million this year compared to 22.1 million last year. And that's just above the 9-year low of 19 million viewers from the 2018 season opener between the Eagles and the Falcons, the worst since 2009, according to Deadline. Now, of course, the players don't like the fact that they're being booed. But what do the players do? Rather than acknowledging the fact that we're not hard-hearted people who have a fist in the air that wanted George Floyd to get killed, because that's the way we're being portrayed, our concern is that if you want to protest, just like everybody else in this country, don't do it in the workplace. Yours is a workplace. I can't go to work and start telling customers at my job what my political and religious views are. I can't do that. I'll get fired. So what do? I don't speak against my political and religious views. I just keep my mouth shut. Now, I've been to, just to give you an example, me personally, I've been to the March for Life. I've prayed in front of Planned Parenthoods where a bunch of crazy animals from pro-choice New York were screaming and yelling at in everybody's face. But that's how I protest. That's how I get out there and I make my voice known. Why can't the NFL players, the NBA players, and the rest of them do the same thing? Outside of your work, which is the basketball court or the football field, organize a protest and march on Washington. I would applaud you doing that because you have a right to do that, even though in this case, I don't disagree with you protesting the death of George Floyd. I certainly wouldn't join you because of your support and you receiving support from a Marxist organization called Black Lives Matter. I'm not going to support a Marxist organization who amongst their goals is the destruction of the nuclear family. So if you're asking me to do that, then I'm sorry, I'm going to lose sympathy for you. But if you want to protest against what you perceive as an injustice against George Floyd and others, and you want to go do it and march and get all your millionaire buddies and their families to go march with you, I have no problem with that. I would say I'm not going to not watch a Jet game if a New York Jets player goes and marches on Washington. That's not going to prevent me from watching a Jet game. But when you bring that protest into the game, into the workplace, a workplace awash with cash because people like me watch the television and we provide you ratings so that you receive more advertising dollars and your salaries go up, then yeah, I'm going to have a little bit of a problem with that. So George Pant of the New York Jets, quote, everyone needs to be treated the same. Everyone needs to be held accountable. And for the people to boo, it's unbelievable. I would boo you, George Pant. I'm going to boo that. I'm not booing George Floyd. I'm not booing the fact that, let's say, for argument's sake, if you want to look at historical abuses against African Americans, but I am booing Black Lives Matter. And I'm booing your support of them. And I'm booing you bringing it into a place where it should not be to begin with. Hopefully the ratings that I just read to you continue to go down, down, and down. And maybe you'll get the message. When your boss comes in, the owner of the New York Jets, and says, I can't pay you guys the salaries you've been getting. We let you protest. We let you bring it into the workplace, and we just lost half of our audience. We lost half of our money. Ergo, your salary gets cut in half. See what you're going to say then. Are you going to call me despicable then? And if you do, then you're really not going to get my money, and you're going to lose even more people. Now, a friend of the Frontline with Joe and Joe, with Joe Pasillo and Joe Resinello, please again follow us on Facebook and follow us on YouTube at the Frontline with Joe and Joe. Like, subscribe, share, do all that fun stuff. Someone who we look to as the future of the Republican Party for many reasons, okay? This is Republican Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri. He defended fans who were called classless trash. Classless trash. That's what the fans were called after footage of their reaction to these linked arms and staying in the locker room after the reaction went viral online. Quote, classless trash, the left showing their usual contempt for middle America, tweeted Mr. Hawley. Quote, Missouri has the best fans in the country. Don't blame them for being tired of NFL corporate woke politics jammed down their throats. Close quote. Amen. That is exactly what we're railing against. It's bad enough we have to do business with these big companies that give money to Planned Parenthood and every radical organization in this country. And we need to find solutions so we can wean ourselves off of companies like Amazon and the rest of them. Okay. But in the meantime, this is something we could do something about. This is something very tangible and immediate that we could do something about as far as our supporting the NFL. We could turn around and we could say, not watching the games, that dries up advertising dollars. Okay. Not buying jerseys for little Johnny. Okay. And everything else, and certainly not buying tickets. Now, not buying tickets is one of those things that they're not allowing you to do anyway because of the Corona sham. Okay. So that's a whole other story. But when people are allowed to go back into the stadiums, we should all say no. Now, I don't know what people who are season ticket holders are doing. They should seriously just demand back their money and they should cancel their season subscription. That's what they should do. So just to put a finer point on it, the NFL formalized its social justice messaging with a season-long branding campaign, quote, "It takes all of us," close quote, launched on the league's opening day on the 10th of September. If it takes all of us, why are you alienating half your audience? You're telling us that we need to agree with the radical organizations that are behind these protests. And when we say no, when we've actually read, let's say, what these terrorist organizations, these domestic terrorist organizations stand for, and we say, we're not supporting them. I am not going to put $1 in your pocket if you're going to support them. You're going to call me classless trash, number one, and then you're going to say it takes all of us. No, I'm not backing Black Lives Matter. And you, by the way, are the ones dividing the country. It's you who are dividing the country because you know that in our current state, in our current political situation, our current cultural situation, there are serious divides in this country, and you're contributing to those divides. You're helping us to be more divided. When in a case like professional football, that's the one place where, like I said, I could go to a game and I'm not interested in the other person's politics. I'm just simply, I am with them in rooting for the New York Jets and watching a good football game. Not that you really get many good football games from the New York Jets. But finally, I wanted to touch on one thing. Trump had something to say about it, okay? So Donald Trump tweeted, and I think he's spot on. People are tired of watching the highly political NBA. So he was talking about, obviously, the NBA, which I cannot stomach a bunch of rich millionaires going up and down the court with the logo Black Lives Matter on the court. I don't get it. I mean, one of the things just to say, you wonder if these players know exactly what they're talking about. Black Lives Matter is for income equality, income redistribution. So my question to LeBron and the rest of them, are you going to allow your income to be redistributed? Because that's what that organization is calling for. So that's just as an aside. So Trump said people are tired of watching the highly political NBA. Basketball ratings are way down and they won't be coming back. I hope football and baseball are watching and learning because the same thing will be happening to them. Stand tall for our country and our flag. I just want to explain something to everybody out there. I have a lot of problems with America, okay? For many reasons, not the least of which is legalized and funded baby murder that is allowed in this country. I have a real problem with that. I love my country. I don't want the overthrow of the United States government. I will do my part along with, in this case, the pro-life movement to try to end abortion once and for all in America. And there's a variety of other reasons and a variety of other problems that I have with America. But I don't bring that into the workforce. I don't impose that on people in my workplace, okay? I work for somebody who very simply wants me to do my job, okay? Unless that changes, my company has not become political yet, but unless that changes, my company wants me to do my job, not judge any guests, just treat them well and do my job, and that's what I do. And my protesting, my fist in the air, marching, praying, whatever the case might be, that's my business. I do it on my time, just like I'm doing this video right now. Just like I'm doing this video right now. If anybody hears my voice and thinks I'm making any kind of sense whatsoever, good. But this is what I do instead of arguing with people. I don't argue with people. I don't want to alienate people. I hope people who disagree with me would watch this and watch the front line with Joe and Joe, with Joe Pasillo and Joe Resinello, and you can see what we're all about. And if you want to argue, we'll argue, but not in the workplace. In the workplace, when people come into the place I work, everyone, liberal, Republican, gay, straight, Catholic, Christian, Jew, no matter who they are, they expect the same service. And I am obligated, not just as an employee, but as a Catholic, okay, to provide that service, okay, to give great service to everybody in that context, to not discriminate against anyone. And I do. And I think that I follow what others have done properly by saying, I'm not going to bring it into the workplace. I'll go and protest on my time on Saturday mornings once a month in front of Planned Parenthood at Mott and Hester Street. Joe Resinello and I are probably going to join Father Stephen Imbarrato on October 1st in front of Joe Biden's house. To what? To burn his house down? To threaten him? No. We're going to go there and pray for the man. That's what we're going to do. In front of his home, we're going to pray the rosary in front of his home for him and his family, okay? And that he repents. That's an act of love. That's not an act of hatred. Nobody wants to hurt Joe Biden or his family or anything like that. But that's the way I protest. Why can't others do the same thing? We have this thing called the internet. Anybody can get on here, just like I'm doing right now, and send a message. And hopefully that message will resonate and you get through to people. But my message to the NFL is this. If you just don't care or if you just don't know, you're going to lose a lot of money. And I say this to the players. You're eventually going to lose a lot of money because the owner is going to make less money, and that's going to translate into what you make. And the other thing I would say to the players is this. You should really know what you're doing, because like I started this video with, the feminists have been arguing and other radicals have been arguing for the abolition of football for a very long time. And Roger Goodell seems to be the type of guy who is, by the way, making millions of dollars a year, but basically who's orchestrating this collapse, because the NFL is a business. And without money, that business ceases to do business. So you guys who all worked hard when you were 12 and 13 years old, perhaps even younger, through high school, college, and sacrificed, and weren't out partying, you were in the gym lifting weights, and you were on the football field practicing, and now you're in the NFL, and you're being rewarded. And I applaud you for that, because you sacrificed a lot more than a lot of other young people do to get to that highest level of professional sports. If this is allowed to continue, and you guys are used as useful idiots to let them continue doing this, it's going to cost you your career, man. And everything you work for is going to go down the tubes, when all you have to do is say to the American people, we respect you. We're not bringing politics and culture into this workplace. We are going to play the game, and we are going to go out and we're going to protest, and we hope you join us. And if you ditch Black Lives Matter, if you got rid of them and their support and stop supporting them, that organization, I may join you in your protest. I just might do that, okay? But as it stands now, I won't. So my message may mean something to you players. It might not. But either way, be careful, because as I said, everything you work for, you are right now destroying. And I don't want to see that for you. I encourage the American people out there to boycott football. Do not watch any professional sports, but I'm speaking specifically about football. And I'm telling all the good people of New York and New Jersey, don't support the New York Jets. Don't turn on their games. Don't do anything like that. Just boycott them until they get their collective head out of their collective butts. I could find a lot of good things to do on Sunday for 3 hours. I used to have a great time watching the Jets. Not anymore. Not until they change. It's up to you and I to force that change, and let's get back to normal in the world of professional sports. So thanks for listening to my rant. This is Joe Pasillo. Once again, I'm always joined by Joe Resinello at 8 o'clock on Sunday night on Facebook and YouTube. Please follow us at The Frontline with Joe and Joe on both of those platforms. And like, subscribe, share, and do all that fun stuff. And remember, until the next time, that our conversation is your conversation, and that conversation is going on everywhere. We'll see you soon, and God bless you.